There is one solid, objective truth in this world. Call of Duty is cancer. It is cancer to gaming, and it bears most of the responsibility of creating the most brain-dead and toxic gamers in existence. If this fandom is allowed to continue, it will literally bring the end days to gaming. That's dramatic. Well, this game has the worst business practices in place imaginable. Like, there is no debating that. They are the worst gaming company. And because of that, they succeeded in producing the most brain-dead sheep of a community that no longer realizes or flat out ignores. They sit in a pile of mediocrity with prominent fatter sheep used to control the other sheep into continuing the cycle of trash that the bigwigs know won't fail. Call of Duty needs to change. Its following needs to change, or else gaming is going to get much, much worse. I was already working on a Call of Duty is cancer type video, but when I saw this on my social media feed, it got me tweaking, like full-blown crash out, and that's what this video is going to be. Earlier I said the most vile company, the worst gaming company, but we also know who can also hold that title. So am I really surprised that this top contender for shitty gaming company, who already, mind you, has a franchise doing this bullshit, is considering doing it again with another franchise? So let's get one thing straight. While this is a Call of Duty hate video, all of it can be applied to this other franchise and to this other company. So this is just more on a personal note because I have personal beef with Call of Duty. But this is cancer. This is bad. This business model is completely unethical. Keep in mind, this is also not an overnight thing. This was decades in the making. This was thoughtful planning from suits who had a game plan, literally when we were kids, to make this a reality. The goal, simple, market dominance. And with that market dominance comes exploitative bullshit, which ultimately leads to trash. This market dominance that Call of Duty strove for encourages the worst business practices imaginable. It encourages disposable development, profit-centric capitalism. Quick, barely sustainable products that are meant to be replaceable. That way no one has time to question up the build quality, the flaws of said product, and will allow this business to never fully address them. Thus, in turn, creating a secondary issue that we're gonna call the players. But at this point in time, the players, the fan base, are equally the root of the problem. But I do encourage that everyone listening keep in mind that there is a distinction and that the problems are different and that one is more bad, far worse than the other. I'm trying to say that the business deserves most of the hate, not the players. Like, imagine a business model that your focus was to build cheap housing that you know will crumble in a short time frame, but you market it as something affordable, something nice to get people in the door. Then their houses are gonna crumble because obviously you designed it that way. And then you turn to those same people and be like, listen, we got your back. Here's this new house. We got you covered. We're family. We'll support you. Soon, they'll never realize that they have just fallen for the biggest scam and truly believe they are in a caring relationship. Call of Duty fanboys are the biggest case group of Stockholm Syndrome out there. And if you don't know what that is, Google it. And I'm just getting that out there because I want to emphasize that I know at this point in time, they may be a problem, but they are equally a victim. So yes, we have the urge to call them brain-dead tools, brain-dead sheep, but this kind of thing doesn't happen overnight. They are being just as exploited, and that is what the business model was banking on. All the issues with Call of Duty stem from this business decision, this business direction, this business philosophy. Why can't they have a good anti-cheat? These developers don't know how to build something long-lasting. Warzone is the first product they've built that is supposed to last more than a year. Why are their old games not safe to revisit? There was no encouragement, no reason to invest in keeping up with the security of old games. Why do they rehash nostalgia over and over again? There's no incentive to innovate, to be creative. And honestly, there's not enough room. Their only goal is to keep the market share. So crank out the next game. This may feel like not so serious things, but over time, this is a problem. We have not just seen this once. We've seen this twice. And what is the result? Milkable sheep who generate these companies billions. Are we really gonna let them go 3 for 3? Funny enough, the salvation to this problem is basically the secondary problematic aspect of this entire situation, the player base. Once again, I do want to iterate, they are victims. You should feel sad for them. But at what point are we going to hold these players accountable? When are we going to start saying, oh, these guys don't know better, to y'all need to know better? Personal accountability has to be a thing. Remember, I said their game plan started when we were children. A lot of us are grown ass fucking adults. So yes, I truly get, maybe it's not totally your fault. But god damn it, you are the goddamn problem and you need to fix it. It's an issue of two fronts. These assholes and then these other assholes. Look, I can make a whole ass video about gaming creators, and I will, but it's not as simple as some try to make it out to be by saying gaming creators, streamers ruin gaming. At the end of the day, they're doing their job. Point blank, they're running a business. Some may have more integrity than others, but at the end of the day, they're doing business. But what makes it hard is that they don't care that they're running their business by helping a disgusting, exploitive product. And yes, this other group of assholes, it's been 2 decades. A lot of them have been indoctrinated at this point. At best, a lot of them don't see the indoctrination. Heck, some of them might still be kids. But at worst, some have seen that what they're supporting is bullshit and actively choose to support this bullshit. It leaves us with a huge uphill battle. You have one group of people who only care about their self-interest in getting that bag. You have another group of people who know this is wrong and just don't care. And then you have the last group of people, the ones with the most hope, who are just ignorant, really, and can be led to the path to the light side. The real issue is, math-wise, converting one of these groups will never solve the issue. Call of Duty as it exists today needs to change. The type of followers it has created needs to change. We already have 2 franchises with this destructive ideology. We do not need a third. Can we course correct? I personally believe so, maybe naively, but I believe so. It's just going to take effort. We can hurt these suits where it hurts, the money bag. But it takes creating a majority group incentive, a group mind link of these 3 distinct groups of players to even stand a chance against changing their minds. Going to be a little harsh here, bear with me. And using him as an example, not because he's the root of the problem, so please keep that in mind. But if we can take this dickhead, along with others, and force them, for maybe once in their life, to not be so selfish, we have a real shot of actually changing and making a real difference. Like, come on, man. If you can turn a $15 million bag, you can say no to Activision for a year. You can uninstall and never touch a Call of Duty, at least for a year. You can use your influence for good to maybe convince half of this problematic group to follow in your footsteps. And then, with hard work, we can enlighten the ignorant and hurt their market dominance. Only with this massive boycott will we ever have a glimmer of hope of changing things. It is a pipe dream. And again, this guy and others like him are not really an issue. Don't twist my words. They are part of a collective problem and a secondary issue created by the main problem, the main issue of this ideology, of this master plan that has been in the works for decades. But there lies the hope. This secondary issue, the players, could be our salvation. It's all fun and games, haha memes that we shit on this group of people and this group of people. But there's a real threat to this spreading. How much longer are we going to keep laughing and not do anything about it?